what's up? I'm Thomas J. Bellezza. Welcome to From the Hat, where we're talking by choice, chosen by random. I'm here with my good friend, Jessica.
Hi.
What's up, Jessica?
Hey, how are you, Tom?
I'm pretty good. I'm glad that you showed up randomly, actually. And I was like, why don't we film this episode? And you were like, sure.
I am ready for the hat's teachings.
You're ready for the hats? Now, people know the rules. And the rules are simple. I have a hat. I have some balls. I put my hand in the hole. And then Jessica's going to tell me when and where. And I'm going to pull a number out. And that's what we're going to discuss.
All right. Pull that ball.
Some cultures would say that's the best way. All right. Now, the number is 23. Let's see what today's topic is. This is the fun part. Ooh, guests choose one of the following.
Ooh, I'm a
Let's
lucky duck.
see. Okay, you can choose a question, a would you rather, a ranking, or a hypothetical.
Ooh, a hypothetical.
All right, hypothetical it is. Hypothetical. Boom. This is the first choice one we've gotten all show. If you could live in any fictional world from books, movies, or TV shows, which would you choose and why?
Ooh, oh my gosh. I would live in How I Met Your Mother.
Oh my God, that's a great choice.
Yes, you get Manhattan. You get a bizarre, entertaining group of friends.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to want to be a regular at a bar.
What is it, McQuarrie's or what is it? Right? McQuarrie? Something like that.
McLaren's.
McLaren's. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. A little more diversity than Cheers, location-wise, but the same comfy, yeah, I can belong with these people.
That's right. And fun fact, the Barney, the guy who plays Barney, Neil Patrick Harris, he took the booth home. He owns the booth from the show. It's in his house. He uses it.
I did not know that, but I do know I'm not that man's type, but if he winked at me, I would melt.
You'd be like,
absolutely. Yeah.
Now, are you saying Neil Patrick Harris if he winked at you, or if the character Barney winked at you?
Neil Patrick Harris.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Barney's scuzzy on purpose and not entertaining enough to take me home.
Yeah, no, it's look, I'm into women, but he does magic, he does jokes, he sings. Like, that's really the whole package. You know what I'm saying? You need the whole package. You can't just be like, well, he has good hair, even though that's really, I got a good beard and a head of hair, but I also have jokes, and that's the way it works.
So you feel like you're ready to take on the world?
I can. Not only will I take on the world, all right, but I'll do it napping. That's how confident I am. I don't even need to be awake for the whole experience. Now you said How I Met Your Mother. Now, would you like to be one of those characters, or would you like to just be someone among one of those characters?
Among one of those characters. I feel like they are the core friend group, and I wouldn't be involved in any of the stories, but every so often I would be passing through, kind of like a Wendy the waitress.
You're like, I don't think I could be friends 24/7 with these people. But maybe like a Thursday. Oh, it's Thursday. I got to go to McLaren's, sit down with the group. Is there anything that one of them could say that you'd be like, all right, I think I'm going to need another. Remember the episode where Lily, in real life, she's pregnant. So she comes down to the bar and she sits down and Barney says something and she's like, you know what? I think I need another 2 weeks away from you. And she gets up and leaves like almost instantly.
Yes.
What would push from the show? All right. What would push you to walk away like that?
Ooh, let's see. Robin spending too much time waxing poetic about her childhood.
You leave Robin Sparkles alone.
How do you go from, I don't understand that part of the character. How do you go from a child whose parent treated them poorly and tried to toughen them up to a teen pop star? Where is that? What is that disconnect, and where is that story?
Well, I mean, she could be the Britney Spears. Britney Spears, she's Britney Spears. But then again, you also have Justin Timberlake, which is almost completely the opposite, right? The only thing that I definitely can agree with that though, because the timeline is, I mean, the father literally made her survive in the woods with like a spork or something like that.
Right. Survive in the woods with very minimal, get back to, I think it was a helicopter. I don't know. But then 6 or so months later, you're a teen pop star.
Yeah, the timeline is a little wonky. I do like that the father ended up being like this really like low key kind of guy towards the end. And he was like, "I'm trying to be happy," he's got like colorful clothes on.
Right. Exactly. Someone needed to hand that man a margarita to complete his transformation.
Just a little.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part about that show? What, like, if you could sell that show to someone to watch, what would be your selling point? Is basically what I'm asking.
Oh, that is so hard because I feel like the first few seasons were purely comedy. And
Mhm.
then somewhere around the time where Ted got left at the altar, there were
Oh.
all of these elements of real life that I didn't expect the show to include. So I'd want to tell them to be prepared for something that drastically changes tone partway through.
Yeah. Like it's almost like you get two shows for the price of one.
Exactly. Yeah. There's that scene where Ted's at the booth and he realizes he's all alone because everyone else has their own lives and the group is falling apart. Not falling apart, but
Yeah.
the group is moving on.
Yeah, it's the one where it's him and Barney, and he's like, "I'm not even here. Like everyone, no one's here right now. It's
Yeah.
just you." And he's just like, you know, yeah, no, that was definitely a good one. Who was the woman? She was the blonde dermatologist, right?
Stella, yeah.
Yeah. I thought she was a pretty good character, but honestly, I wish he ended up with I believe her name is Valerie, right? Uh,
Baker,
the baker, yeah. What was the baker's name?
Victoria.
Victoria. I read somewhere there was an interview with the creators, and they said if the show didn't continue,
Mhm.
she was going to be the mother.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah,
And
you
they
know.
they did a really great job leading up to that. But then when they brought her back, she was a sloppy mess, and I couldn't see the charm from season one.
Yeah, I mean, she left her husband at the altar.
uh,
Like that's
Klaus.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
Klaus. So I'm from Germany, Germany, and I will help you. Right, that guy, right?
yeah, I what else was that guy in? I feel like he pops up randomly places.
Yeah, he's in Reno 911. He's I don't know if it's Kids in a Hall. It might be the other show that was on MTV where they had the character that goes, "I'm Doug and I'm out of here." I can't remember the name of the
I
show though.
have no
It was
idea
like
what
a
you're
sketch
talking about.
comedy though. You know what I'm talking
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm out of here. Yeah, he's in a lot of stuff. He's a very funny guy. He in Reno 911, he's the guy with the short shorts and the boots.
Okay, there we go. Yes, that's where I know him from.
You know. You need those short shorts. That's the only way to be a real cop in Reno.
Too much.
It's too much. Was there a point in the show, and we're not even going to jump on the ending because we could discuss that, but this question is just in reference to the show in general. Was there any part of the show where like you almost felt like you were like, maybe I'm done with the show, and then they did something and you're like, all right, I'll stick it out?
Yeah, it wasn't related to the ending. It was like I want to say season 4-ish. There was some episode where, and I'm having trouble remembering, where Lily did some like, oh, where you find out Lily had been sabotaging like some of Ted's relationships.
Oh my
And I
god.
was like, if Allison Hannigan is on the screen, I can no longer watch the screen. I really started to develop this parasocial hatred for the character as if
We have some technical difficulty. Well, Jessica gets a phone call. I'm hearing from her now. She's coming back. It happens, folks.
what was
It
the
just
name of the
vanished. Maybe it just happens. It happens. Yeah, we had a little technical difficulty. I had to go, feed the cat.
cat?
So Jessica was saying, basically, when Lily's character turns out she was interfering with all his relationships, and you were saying every time she's on the screen, you were like,
Right.
carry her.
I developed this extreme parasocial hatred for Allison Hannigan. Sorry, Allison. But it's
Poor
true.
Willow.
Oh, it's before my time. No.
I agree with that. When that happened, I was like, why are people friends with her?
Right.
Even Jason Segel's character, Marshall is like this really down to earth. He's probably the puppy dog of the show, right? He's the sweetheart. And like, if I was him, I would have looked at her and be like, we have to rethink everything. But then you also find out he's the one also that started the betting on failure.
Right. That caused her to do this. So together they are what? He's sweet, she's toxic, but he's also an instigator.
And I think that comes from his Minnesota brothers, where they're always like challenging and attacking each other. And then, I do love that he's the shortest person in the family. Yeah, when she did that, I was like, but I hate her excuse too. She's like, no, it's different with Rob, and I want it to work. It's just I wanted you guys to get together. So, and it's like, but in doing so, she made them think about where will they be in 5 years, and it just
Porsche.
It's so bad.
How does that dynamic work?
I don't know. I definitely I could see myself with a Robin though, because she says all the right things. She doesn't want kids.
Well, okay. Just want kids. Just want to get married, right?
Right. She's but no, she does want to get married, doesn't she? She just wants to have a career a little bit and then get married or something like that.
Oh yeah, right. Because she ends up marrying.
Spoiler: the Barnes. What's interesting about that twist is that it wasn't always like that. But Barney felt like it could be. So he said earlier on, he made sure to do little hints as a character, like in the way he behaved and performed, to influence that potential storyline.
Oh.
And so they changed things over time. But excuse me, I'm sorry. Season 2 is when they stopped filming the kids. So they filmed everything they needed to film in season 1 and 2. So they were stuck with the ending. They were like, the ending is the ending. The mother would always be what the mother is, and Ted will end up, being with whoever he ends up being with.
Yeah. Does that mean they plan to kill off Victoria?
No. So if it had not gone past, so before Victoria left the show, or I should say came back into that they wanted to destroy the chance for Victoria, because they knew they were going to finish the series. They knew they were going to get their 8 seasons or whatever it was. I think 7 or whatever. I forget. So they did that to be like, Victoria is definitely not going to be the mother. But before then, they were like, if we've already set up this really great relationship. We could just bring her back as a finale and be like, she's the mother, So, but just in case, they pre-planned. But the Barney thing kind of like disrupt that whole thing, because it made people think that, did they kill the mother so they could end up together at the end? Like, because people like the Barney Robin relationship, but I never did. There was always first of all, they broke up once. Remember when they got fat and ugly? What is it called? Like,
in the diner mirror. Yeah, Helen Thick talks some sense into them.
They're just like, I don't know if we can do this anymore, and then they're like, maybe we can, let's try again, and they get married. But it's like, Barney to me developed slowly, but didn't really evolve until he had his daughter.
Right. But then you get 10 minutes of screen time with that or less. So
Yeah.
you take all that character development and do what with it? You toss it.
Yeah, and it's like, all right, you took him away from Robin, you gave him a kid. He's like, I love you more than anything. And it was like really intense too. I was like, they just fit in a whole nother season in one scene. But I like that Robin and Ted ended up together. I mean, I knew they were going to get together. She's literally the meet cute.
She is the meet cute. I only don't like them together because they felt so different through all of the seasons, and I couldn't find any true common threads between them. And then it was, oh right, this guy would do anything for me. I think I'll just hang on to him in my old age.
Yeah, right. Oh, he's my fallback. I think in the last season, what happens is she's ready. because she has a full career. She's in control of her career. She's reached that age. You know, she has her dogs again, which, you know, you got to fall in love with a dog person. You know, so it's really nice that they kind of, she was there now. In the show, she wasn't there. She was never there. She didn't want the kids. She didn't want the marriage, like you were saying originally, right? She wanted to focus on her career. She was career driven. She had that like sort of like keep people at arm's length kind of thing. I mean, the only reason she ended up with Ted the first time, other than like the random date, is because he made it rain. Remember? And she was just like, "Whoa, all right, come on up. Let's a boom, wow," you know. So I understand the people that didn't like the ending. Like, there's nothing wrong with not liking that ending. I think if they did one more season, I think they really could have built to the Barney thing and the Robin and Ted thing. It's just that Jason Segel wanted out. That's why he's barely in the last season. He was like, I don't want to do the show anymore. So he's filmed a lot of his scenes already, like where he's like with the lady driving, and he's not really with everyone until like I think the very end of the show, or whatever. So, but if he had stayed, they would have done one more season.
Okay, that I didn't know. His entire thing for the last season felt very reminiscent of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Which is obviously an amazing movie. You know, John Candy, rest in peace, right? He's like, and my wife likes me, you know, and you're just like, oh, that's really sweet. And then you're like, oh, that is really sweet. That's terribly sweet. I don't want to ruin that movie. Enjoy that movie.
Yes.
Anyone who hasn't seen it, go see Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Fun fact about that movie that won't give away any of the plot. The lady on the phone for the car rental place, when she's talking about Thanksgiving, the director said, just make like you're just having a conversation with someone. So she said in an interview that was literally a conversation she just had with her sister. She was like, I'll just repeat. But it's a very funny scene. It ends with a lot of F-bombs. Made that scene perfect. Perfect. Excellent movie. So speaking about the How I Met Your Mother, would you say that's one of your favorite shows? Is that why you'd like to spend time in that world, or is it just because of the tone, the environment, because we're New Yorkers?
Exactly. I think it's the tone, the environment. Every so often they leave Manhattan, and as a native New Yorker, it just feels very homey.
Yeah, every time you see it, you're just like, oh, I wish I was on that street right now. It's the only reason I watch Friends still, because I'm like, I want New York. I love New York shows. I like feeling like I'm in New York, you know. It'll always be my home. It'll always be your home, I'm sure. You know, people don't understand. New York is more than a place. It's like you're connected to something. And there's also generational New Yorks. Not every New York generation is the same. You know, would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. I think my generation is very like, we're gonna leave this place, but then maybe come back. We'll see what housing looks like.
Yeah, let's live here but visit, if you know what I mean. We'll have a place. Like, yeah, I'm my favorite time though was living in Brooklyn. That was that kind of vibe was great, but towards the end of my stay in Brooklyn, it was I lived in a very Italian centric area. Like to the point where everybody was talking Italian. Like, you know, if you didn't know it, you'd think they were, you know, mafia. Like, that's how old the people were there. They had all the coffee shops. They'd sit outside, and, you know, and as soon as they know you speak Italian, they're like, hey, come here, you know, and they're like, yeah, sit down, stop the seat, you know. And you're just like, all right. And they buy you the coffee, and you're like, oh, they own me now, you know.
Never leaving the seat.
Right? I hope I don't say anything wrong here, you know. Have you ever had a place in New York where you were like, this to me is home?
Oh, no, but I could really see myself in Beacon and feeling that way.
And what is it about the Beacon?
Oh, it's surrounded by nature. The town itself is nice and walkable, and it has easy access everywhere. There's a Metro North stop right in town.
Okay, all right, yeah. Well, you like the walking, right? Not the Christopher Walken, but the physical action of walking.
But yeah, I will walk anywhere, anytime.
Do you prefer the walking over, like, say, a bike ride or rollerblading? Gave away my age.
Ooh, gosh, no. Rollerblading, I think I would die. They made us rollerblade in gym class in elementary school, and I fell more times than I can count. Haven't been on rollerblades since. Would prefer to bike, but afraid of getting hit by a car.
That's
So
right.
foots, by foot it
Footsies.
is.
The footsies.
Feetsies, yeah.
Yeah, and I think what's nice about Manhattan is it's 13.5 miles left up and down, north and south, but it's 5 miles or something like that. Not even, maybe
Cross, yeah.
or something like that. So east to
Yeah.
west. So you literally could walk Manhattan, and not feel like I needed a car, or a bike. When I see those people ride the bikes, I'm like, other people rode those bikes.
Oh, those city bikes?
Yeah, and like,
I don't think they clean them most of the time. They're broken. I don't know who is responsible for that upkeep, but city bike stalls are looking rough. But
absolutely.
same thing with all the shared bikes in other cities. You're just like, all right, you walk up and you're like, oh, it says this bike is good, but it doesn't have a seat. You just sit on with the post. Or
This
this
is
is
the
not a
wrong
New
bike.
York. Like this is not a New York problem, but this is a problem in other cities. Those electric scooters that just end up getting dumped everywhere. They are super heavy to move out of the way, and if you pick them up and try to move them off the sidewalk, they just beep at you like you're trying to steal them. It is the wildest thing. I'm like, no, no, I just want to be able to walk.
Wait, they just leave? Like, you can just leave them when you're done with them?
Yeah, you can just leave them. When you are done with them, you don't have to park the scooters in a specific location. You just pull over and the app does the rest. And then it's just locked there waiting
Wow.
for the next person. So you can leave it in the middle of the sidewalk. You can leave it at a shopping center. I haven't seen this, but I'm pretty sure you could leave it in the middle of a store.
Now I kind of want to do that.
Scooters are
Just
super
collect them.
tremendous. Yes, you just collect them.
You ever see those where they're just wheels, and then like you kind of put your feet to the left and right of like a wheel, and you just see the people in New York just driving down on a wheel?
Yes, like a modern unicycle.
Yeah, and how do you turn? Like, how do you turn on that? You got like,
you gotta lean. You can't be afraid to just lean. I know,
don't
not
know.
for you or me.
I love when you see the people on the hoverboards, and you're just like, okay, all right.
Right.
Did you not see Wally?
Nope. But they have such good balance. Really an enviable skill. Truly.
Especially because they just stand there like this, and they just,
Right? I want that for myself, but also no way.
I'm at the point where I could probably benefit from a Segway. You know what I'm saying?
Of course, yeah. They do in DC, they do tours of the Capitol and the National Mall by Segway. You're down to see a bunch of people zooming by.
If you ever want to entertain yourself, I recommend going on YouTube and looking for chimpanzee riding on a Segway. That's all I'm saying. It's a song, and it's just chimpanzees riding on a Segway.
I'm gonna look into this as soon as we get off.
I want to say it's monkeys. It's but it's bananas is ultimately what I'm trying to say.
Oh, and I thought it would be nuts.
It would what? Hey. No, all right. So back to the question: if you could live in any fictional world, from books, movies, or TV shows, see, I might say The Sopranos.
Really, for the food or the danger?
For both. I want to feel like I'm alive. Like any day could be my last. I want to be around all the crazy people and excellent accents. Now I don't know where would I have a hard time, because there are certain things I need, like a modern toilet, a modern shower, weird things like medicine. Like things that like one might say are good for you. But I also would love to live during, with the wizards and the knights and like the fantasy realms, and like, what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Being in Game of Thrones might be interesting, but then like instantly I couldn't last the day because they don't shower every day. There's no way they shower every day.
No way.
because they don't have showers. They only bathe, and then that's a whole kit and caboodle, you know. So it's like, do I want modern? You know, it's and the modern magic stuff is not fun, though. You know, The Gods Among Us is a pretty interesting show, but you know, once technology god comes in, you're like, this is weird.
I guess you live in some wizarding fairyland and hope that the little wands can zap you anything you want.
That's right. How do I get presto toileto? You know, like,
Amazing.
I mean, imagine not having a shower.
And everything's good. I wake up refreshed, or I just get caked on with like.
No, I mean, like, the convenience of a shower. I don't see people nowadays cannot rationalize what it felt like to live just even on the prairie.
No.
You know, like we live on a farm and we have all the animals and we harvest, and they did not smell good.
I am sure not.
What's crazy is they had like 7 or 8 kids, and you're like, how did they get through that to do the deed that makes the kids?
Propelled by desire and clothespins.
Put little corns in their nose. I'm ready. But even like the birth, like you said, well, you know, the percentage of survival for that back then was very low because of the filth and the. But a Frenchman said, you should wash your hands. And they threw him in a mental hospital. That's so crazy.
Society, sorry.
Wash your hands? Why? Well, there's the bacteria germs. Right. It's microscopic. Okay, crazy.
Okay.
Get him out of here. You know, like, it's like watching The Dictator. He's like, don't worry. We will protect you. But it's a dead guy. That movie's so crazy. Did you see The Dictator?
No, I did not. I missed it. I remember the internet rumor going around that you couldn't watch it because North Korea would come arrest you or something. Do you remember that?
Oh, that's The Interview.
Oh, I'm thinking of the wrong movie. Holy cow.
Yeah, The Interview with Seth Rogen and the rapist. What's his name? The guy that's in all his movies.
Franco?
Yeah. James Franco. He's in it. Yeah. They were like, if you watch this, you're gonna be on the list. No, The Dictator is with the guy who does Borat. I am Borat.
Oh no.
Sasha Cohen. Yeah, and he plays the dictator or whatever, and he'll do this and you know, like if someone does something wrong. They build up to the scene with the dead guy, but he's ultimately like every time someone does something crazy, he's like, "Don't worry," and he's like, and then they take him away, you know. And then there's a point where he has a double, and the double gets shot, you know,
No.
and he's dead on the table, and the dictator's like on him. He's like, "Don't worry, my friend, we'll take care of you." And he turns around and goes, so he takes the body, but he's dead. The guy's dead. And then you find out that ultimately everyone that he's been, you know, demanding was executed actually were like sent away to America to live a new life. Right? But he thought they were killing them, but they're all friends. So they were like, we're not killing our friends. It's very funny. I think his wife, well, his ex-wife is in the movie too. And this is a really crazy moment where like a girl is giving birth. So the dictator is like, I'll help you, you know, I help you. And he like puts his hand inside her, you know, the hoo-ha. But the girl in the movie, I can't remember the character's name, but who is his ex-wife? He's like, help me out, put your hand in. And she puts her hand in, and they're like staring at each other while their hands are in this, and they're having a moment. And then they cut to the hands inside the vagina.
Oh my
they
God.
hold hands, and they're having like this really wonderful, like romance.
I have.
So crazy.
No.
He's so crazy. I was like, I don't know. It was so funny though. It was so funny. And then he, you know, he obviously, if you don't know as a listener, Sacha Baron Cohen, who's an excellent singer. He's Jewish, and his wife is also Jewish. His ex-wife. In the movie, though, him as the dictator hates Jewish people, and he's fallen in love with this girl was his ex-wife in real life, and he finds out she's Jewish, and he's like, "What?" And he's like, "Oh, pissed off." He's like, "You were perfect and not gross." But like the whole thing is him still like getting over that and then falling in love with her despite the Judaism, and it's just funny because he's Jewish in real life. Hey, chi fa sta zitta, aspetta. All right. Anyway, all right, that was exciting. You have any last thoughts on this subject, Jess?
No, I think it would be fun to be able to explore different TV universes and see which is the best fit.
Yeah, like you can like have a remote control and you'd be like, let's try this one and let's try that one. Which one, before we go, which one would you be like, this is definitely not the place for me? How do I get out of here?
Ooh, okay. Let me think. Designated Survivor.
You're talking about with
Yeah, Kiefer
the Lost Boy,
Sutherland.
right? What's his name? Douglas. No, not Douglas.
Kiefer?
Sutherland.
Yeah, Kiefer Sutherland, yeah.
That show, that first season was like pure magic when it comes to writing. Like it's a masterclass. And then you get to season 2 and you're like, I don't need to watch this show anymore.
Right. There's nothing now. It's just like every other political drama. But that first season, I was glued to the TV. And now that it's on Netflix, I never finished the series.
Yeah, it's because you experienced it. But anyone who's listening, watch that first season. That's all you need. That is all you need. That show, because it's a contained first season, right? It's basically they solve the issue.
They solve the issue. I think there's a little bit into the second season where they catch one of the characters from the first season and close that loop.
Yeah, but ultimately, yeah, like you said, it literally just turns into a political. It's just so bad, right? It's like episodic. You're like, what is going on? Like nothing's really connecting anymore, and yeah, no. But I was actually surprised that show was so good. I was like, we'll try it out, and I was just like, this show is amazing, and I couldn't stop. I watched it probably in 3 days, the whole thing, and then I just started the second season. I was like, what is going? It's like watching 24, and you're like, the first season concept is really tight, and you get it. It's kind of boring, and like you're like traveling that fast in LA is suspension of disbelief. I get it. But then you get to the second season, and like, what do we do with the daughter?
Ousted.
You know what I'm saying? And like the best character in the show, they just kind of like throw her away, and she ends up being the actual bad, the antagonistic force in the first season. And she's like such a great character, and then they sort of just make her like someone they visit once in a blue moon in prison or whatever. Did you like that show? Did you like the 24?
I did. I didn't watch every season, but here and there, yeah.
Here and there, yeah. Again, like those shows have such great concepts, and then they just don't know what to do with them. And
okay. I wish we could do something a little bit like British television, where you say, okay, this many episodes, this many series or seasons, and then that's it. And you have to tell a complete story in that arc. I think part of the problem with American TV is that it can go on as long as people are still watching it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, because a great example, what you're talking about, would probably be not necessarily Downton Abbey, but the House of Cards, the British version of House of Cards. I believe it's only 3 seasons, and it was specifically supposed to be 3 seasons because it was the rise, the corruption, and then the fall.
Yes.
And House of Cards in the United States was more like, oh, we could keep going.
Right. And then something happens to our main actor, and we have to do something bizarre. Yeah.
What happened to him?
You know what? I don't know. Escapes me.
The way they wrote him off though, and like the reveal, you're just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like, just say he died of a heart attack. Like that was a weird thing. Anyway, yeah. So Jess, thank you so much for being on an episode of From the Hat.
Thank you for having me. This was so much fun.
Yeah. We're definitely gonna have to do it again sometime. Hopefully we could do another subject. Let's see what happens.
I want to talk about corduroy pants next time.
You know what? That will be the next subject. I promise you. I'll fit it in. I'll trick the bingo cards. We'll make it happen.
Thank you.
But with that, everybody, I'm Thomas J. Bellezza. You're listening to From the Hat, where we are talking by choice, chosen by random. I will see you next time. Bye.